You all seem to like quizzes. I'm getting that sense. Okay. All right. So the answer for that is D, supercomputer. And feel free to take back the quiz afterwards. All right. Now, to use a program, question 2, to use a program stored on a flash drive, the program must be transferred onto, well, think about it. Um, or, who here knows what does run ROM? Who here could tell me what ROM stands for? Um, read-only memory, okay? And your read-only memory is memory that cannot be written to. So the question, excellent, right? Excellent. Uh, read-only memory is memory that can only be read from, and it cannot be, there's no write access, it's read-only access. So this could only be used for when the computer is booting up. And just remember, with read-only memory is called non-volatile memory. And it's, what that means is that even when the power is switched off from the computer, the memory is still stored on the chip. So what happens here when the program comes from a flash drive, it has to reach, those instructions have to reach the CPU. Okay, so let me just do a quick drawing here. Let me pull up okay. So in order for the information to reach the CPU, right? So let's just say we have a flash drive here. We have a flash drive, and then we have our CPU. But in the middle, they're asking us what goes in here. So check this out. So the instructions from the flash drive, from your flash drive has to reach the CPU, but it has to go to the um, RAM before it reaches the CPU, right? And what gives us, what is the giveaway is that, look, ROM, read-only memory, PROM, programmable read-only memory, EPROM, erasable programmable read-only memory. These are only read-only. You cannot put information from you cannot write information from a flash drive to a read-only memory. The memory has to be accessible, A for accessible. Okay, so it has to go to the RAM. So it's from flash drive to the RAM to the CPU. We got that? Hey, Giovanna's fine. That's why we are doing these questions now, right? So you would have done it in Form 1. Well, somebody did it in Form 1. Okay, Bastille, good answer. Oops, wrong one. Good answer. Take that off, right? Hey, Hazian, excellent, excellent. You guys good so far with the explanations? Don't worry, when I'm starting the classes in September, I will be going through all of this in details so that when you get it, when you see these questions again, they will be easy. So number 2. Oh, this one. This one. Interfaces. Let me see how much of you had problems with number 3. How much of you had problems? Number 3 is a little tricky one because we're talking about interfaces. Who could tell me right now, who's here using Mac OS or Windows right now? Who could tell me what kind of interface that is that you're using right now? Right, Varun, excellent, Sam, Rishu, Ping, Mark, excellent, unknown. No, okay, so you're using Windows, but what type of interface are you using? So there are 3 types of interfaces that we need to be aware of. There are really three types, right? So we have menu-driven interfaces, we have command-driven interfaces, and we have graphical user interface. Right. So let's see what you guys said. Somebody said menu. Nope. So Windows and Mac iOS was another operating system that uses some graphics. So really Mac iOS and Windows, those will be graphical user interface. Think about it. Graphics, you've seen Windows, you've seen icons, right? I've seen some of you are saying command driven, but that's the answer to the question to this question number 3. What I am asking you, what I'm asking you, you are using Windows or Apple computer right now. That is what type of interface? When we have Windows, when we have icons, those are what we call graphics, because you are seeing graphics. So those are, we call them graphical user interfaces or GUI, but that's not the question that they're asking us. And which of these following types of interfaces is the user required to remember specific instructions and tasks and syntax? So it's definitely not graphical user. It's definitely not computer screen, because computer screen is not a user interface. A computer screen is a peripheral device. Is a peripheral device. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Very good. So when we have to remember specific instructions and syntax, specific instructions and syntax, that is where we have a command driven. Okay. Anybody here has ever seen a command driven interface? Who has not seen one? Who has not seen a command user interface? Okay, one person. Oh, I think many of you would have never seen that. Well, I grew up using a DOS. We call it MS-DOS, right? So I'm trying to see if I could pull it up here on my end, but it's taking forever. All right, so let me know if you could see my screen, right? So I have a little screen here. So it's a little black screen. It's basically a black and white screen. And you literally have to remember the command. So if I want to ping, if I want to know the ping is a command, I want to know the website, the IP address of, let me say, Google. I need to remember, I have to say ping space www.google.com, and then I'll get all of these numbers and outputs. So this is what a command-driven user interface is. It's just text. It's just text, and it's usually black or white or green and black, right? So that's a command user interface. You have to remember the commands. You have to remember the syntax. So if I say ipconfig, right? I know this is looking like a scene from one of those movies where they have hackers on doing all kind of stuff, right? It looks like that. So these are what command-driven user interfaces are. Okay, and then with menu interfaces, menu-driven, these are like where you see the bank ATM, where you have to choose the selection from the options that they give you. So those are menu driven. You can't enter a command, you can't drag and drop anything on an ATM or any sort of terminal. You don't necessarily need internet, okay? So menu driven, as I would have said just now, is like on those ATM, the bank ATMs or terminals, the airport terminals, where you just press these buttons or the options that they give you. You can't really type in any sort of command or drag and drop anything. So those are menu-driven interfaces. So once again, back to the question, which of the following interfaces, if we have to remember specific instruction and syntax, that would be the command-driven. Everybody's with me on that? So yes, used to call a command prompt. It is called a command prompt, right? Once again, I'm just going through the answers of it, and I'm doing my best to explain it without going back to the materials. All right. But yes, DVD players are menu driven. Excellent. That's an excellent observation. Windows terminals, Mahavir says, knows of Linux and all Mac and all terminals. Excellent. Okay. Number 4. Did people have problems with number 4? No, a lot of you were okay with number 4. Easy stuff, man. This is just 10 questions of 2025. This came this year, 2025. Which of the following would not be considered cloud storage? I honestly thought many of you would have gotten this one wrong. But cloud storage technically is data that is stored not onto your network. Now, why would we want to store data or backup data that is not on our network? Why would we not want to do that? Why is that a bad idea? Why would I want my data backup on a location that not even I know where it is? Why is that a good idea? Okay, security, but we also have different types of hazards. Um, if an earthquake happens in your area, if a fire happens in your area, on your network, right? Those are the kind of, we call that external damages to our data. We want to prevent external damages, or even it's any sort of form of internal damage, right? So somebody said security, okay, but I would say you want to have secure your data from external damages, or in like hurricanes, earthquakes, fires. Cost savings, is it though? Issue, is it really a cost savings? Is it fast access? Really, is it really fast access? If you have good internet connection, maybe. But what if in a very remote area, poor connection, right? Hazia said, no, you can put it on another device. Yes, that's fine. You could also put it on another device. Okay, but what if that device can be lost? So we want something called duplicity or redundancy, right? Okay, so that is technically what cloud storage is. Your data being backed up on a location that is from a location as far away from you, and not on your network. So check this out. Option A, data stored on remote servers. Well, that definitely is what cloud storage is. Let's check out D, data managed by storage providers or hosting companies. Well, that is definitely what cloud storage is. Again, data that is remote. C, data backup and storage devices on the internet. That definitely is what cloud storage is. So that leaves us with B. Option B says, data stored and accessible on a local area network. Now, if I store in data on a local area network, doesn't that mean that that device is within my proximity? So if there's a earthquake in my area, the data can be damaged. Earthquake, flooding, or anything else, anything that is similar to that. So B is actually not considered cloud storage, because it's on a local area network. And we all could see from options A, C, and D, those are options of what type of network. Is it a wide area network? Not so. And we spoke, and when some of you would know what a wide area network. So our remote server is basically a server that is not on your local area network. So it's actually on a wide area network. So remote servers are technically um, accessible via your wide area network. So that's what remote servers mean. We won't go into too much detail because that's another topic by itself, all right? We just want to get through these past paper questions. We on number 4, you know. So answer is B. I almost click on C because I'm talking too much. All right, number 5. How did you guys do with number 5? Number 5, I don't think number 5. We start having some problems with number 5. Okay, that's started having some problems with number 5. Sorry about this. Don't know why that came up. Right, did it tell us which ones give everybody the most problems? Overview, number 5. Okay, people started dropping off from number 5. So let's see. Number 5, and number 5 is a simple one. Number 5 is technically the IPOS cycle. So tell me real quick in the chat, what is IPOS? Boom. Even before I finish asking the question, we should give me the answer. Excellent. So IPOS is input processing and output and storage. So IPOS is input, output. You all thought I was going to do programming and Pascal today. Well, you thought I was going to do that. Switch things up a little bit, right? And storage. That is what IPOS means. So IPOS is input, output, and storage. Let's see what's going on here. Excellent. Patel, Levi, excellent work, excellent work. So Rohan, let's see, how did you do in the quiz? Okay, so which of the following groups of hardware components best represent input, processing, output, and storage? So in this one, they made it real easy for us, right? Your mouse is actually a input device. This one here in B, they put keyboard. Keyboard is an input device. D is an input device. So they say, all right, no problem. So it could still either be A, B, C, or D. We go to the next one. We're looking for P. Which one is processing? Well, in option A, CPU is processing. In fact, it is, the name is in there, Central Processing Unit. CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. And B, they also have Central Processing Unit. C and D, well, you put printer there to try to confuse those who do not know what IPOS means. Some of you might think, well, P means printer. So we know it's definitely not C. C and D. So we cross them out one time. Output. So again, they doing a very good job here. Monitor is an output, right? O for output. But B, mouse is not an output device. Mouse is an input device. So it's definitely B is out. So we know for sure it has to be E. But just to be sure, we check for S. S is storage and hard drive. So question 5, the answer is A. G1, look like you had problems with that question. That was the one you got wrong. All right. Okay, this one, number 6. Number 6, once again, they're testing you on the IPOS. Uh, IPOS cycle and the IPO chart, those are the fundamentals of computer systems. Input, processing, and output. Those are the fundamentals. Okay, so item 6 refers to the following diagram, which shows the basic operations of a general purpose computer system. So off the bat, W is, if you look at it, W will be our input, okay? X would be our process. Y would be our output, right? And then Z would be storage. So storage and process always goes, they communicate very well they go hand in hand with each other. So if you ever see an arrow, 2 arrows, one in both directions, that would be most likely be your process and your storage. So the question is, which of the following function is carried out in box Z? And we just put it there, Z is storage, so the answer is C. Everybody, how is everybody doing? Everybody agree with me on that? I lost anyone there? That was easy, right? So the answer is C. See how easy this paper is? You'll find this paper easy or you'll find it difficult? Well, I could see from here, only have only 53 of you really got all correct. Right. That's fine. You see, they always throw in some questions to stump you. And when you really get down into it, it's simple, you know. It's simple. Don't worry if you find it difficult now. As we go over them, practice them, and we get some muscle memory going, it becomes easier, okay? So I'm seeing Anastasia, Sam, Vine, Varun, Tia, Shreyas, Sam, Rohan, Vishu, Rahim, Ping, Lemon, Julia, Mark, Jada, Unknown, Broccoli Bell, Rihanna, Avion, Avinash, Ezra, Azrael, Andrew, Ariane, Amrita, Akidon, Aria. Right? Excellent, excellent. Y'all did a great job. Even Michaela, even with 80, I think anybody got 80 and up deserves a star. So send me a message if you heard your name to get your stars. All right, so let's go. Are these the type of questions? Well, I think these are the general format. These are the general format of the questions. So once we keep doing 2024, 2023, 2025, we'll be fine. I think we'll do well in paper 1, but you need to do well in paper 2 also, and your SBA, okay? All right, so everybody getting their stars, excellent. So number 7, which of the following would not be included in cable transmission media? So I would have covered this, I think in our first class when I spoke about transmission media, transmission cables. Okay, so let me see if I could pull that up real quick. When we talk about the different types of cables there are. So it have that might be a little problem to pull up now to try to find that. Okay, so we have different types of transmission medias. We have cable and we have wireless. Who could tell me what is the type of media that wireless use? Is a type of wave? Who could tell me? Is a type of wave? Is a type of wave? Yes, infrared is one, but There's another type. Okay, so right, so it's infrared waves and it's microwaves. It's also, well, they are all electromagnetic waves just on a different spectrum. So radio waves, infrared waves, and microwaves. Okay. Okay, I can't. Computer is sticking. Sorry about that. My computer is sticking. So the answer is basically microwaves, infrared waves, and radio waves. Those are the wireless. Sorry about that. Taking a look. Hi. Okay, excellent. So yeah, so the is microwaves, infrared waves, and radio waves. That those are what are used for wireless transmissions. And then for wired transmission, those are like our copper cables. So the different types of um, wired media would be coaxial cable, there'll be fiber optics, and there'll be twisted pairs. So for number 7, they ask us which of the following would not be included in cable transmission. So in cable transmission, we have the twisted pair, right? We have fiber optics, and we have coaxial cable. In another class, in our first class, I did cover coaxial cables and fiber optics and twisted pairs. What I also mentioned in first class was with satellites communicate with each other through wireless transmission. So that would be our microwaves, our infrared waves, and our radio waves. So the answer is 7. For number 7 is B, satellite. Okay, now check this out. Oh, number 8, networks. So do you all remember when I spoke about any networks, when I spoke about, and I spent a lot of time on the difference between a router, a switch, and modems. Who remember that class? Who remembered that? Spent a good bit of time. I wish I had it recorded. Right, good. So once again, just a quick recap on this slide here. Network interface cards. In order for a device to communicate over the internet, we need to have these elements, these hardwares. I shouldn't say elements, but these hardware devices. These hardware devices, you definitely need a network interface card. We need a switch, we need a router, or switch or router. Actually, we need switch, a router, and then we need a modem. So going over it real quick, a network interface card is the doorway that lets the computer connect to the network and is built into most computers. A switch is a device that connects multiple devices. So what that means is that it connects all your computers together, right? Router connects different networks together. A router connects networks together. And then a modem connects your network to your internet service provider over the cable lines. So essentially, a modem, which is short for modulator and demodulator, it what converts your computer signals over into the telephone lines and to the cable lines. So that is kind of like analog, digital to analog conversion. Okay, so that is important to remember. And examiners love to test that, as you would see in this question. This question number, what question is this? Number 8. Number 8. The question is, in order for connecting the hardware components of a local area network, starting from ISP telecommunication line to a desktop computer. So they said starting from ISP telecommunication line. So we know for sure is a modem we're looking for. So A and D, we're looking at those two there. So forgetting B and C, okay? So we go in from modem and we go into our desktop. But what did we say? What did we say? We said a switch is what connects the computer and desktops, and the router connects all the networks together. So in a sense, this is the hierarchy, this is the order we're going at. So it goes from modem, router, switch to NIC, to your NIC card. That's when we downloading data, right? That's when we're downloading data from the ISP to the router to the switch. So this is the order we're looking at for number 8. So it's modem, router, switch, and NIC. And the option that best suits that is which one? A or D? A, excellent. Right, excellent, is A. You see how simple it is? You all see how simple it is? Simple stuff. Let me see questions. Number 9. Cyber attacks and security we're talking about here. And I think number 9 and 10 is what give a lot of people problems. So number 9, phishing cyber attack is best described as, so with phishing is where someone is sent you an email or they sent you a message saying that, hey, you just won some money and you need to claim it by logging in into your bank, into this website, or you might have to claim it. You have to log into your Instagram account or your Facebook account or in your email. And when you click on that email, you're taken to a website that has a login page that looks very similar to your Instagram or your Facebook or your email login, or even your banking information, your banking website. Looks very similar. And you're thinking, well, you know what? Hey, Hima, how are you? Long time. And you're thinking that, well, you know what? You're entering a username and password into this website. I think, and they keep telling you what the username and password is wrong, and you keep typing it over and over. And all this time, this website is a false website, is a website that looks, I have no idea. You might have to call up and about that. So and that is how hackers could get your username and password, because you thinking you're logging in into your account, and all this time they're seeing what you're typing in. Okay, so that is what phishing cyber attack is. So it is essentially stealing sensitive email, sensitive information through a deceptive, not say deceptive website, but from a deceptive email or message, which takes you to a website that looks similar to your login page. So with that being said, if we look at A, transfer malicious code to a network, that is what viruses or a worm could be, or malware, right? B, installation of viruses into a computer system, that is what a virus is. D, sharing, okay, I want to see if you all know this one for the Form 5. D, sharing of proprietary company information with a competitor is called what? And I'll give you a clue, it's not pirating. Yes, they for phishing they could use they could use Wi-Fi, they could use WhatsApp messages, it could be a Facebook message. It doesn't have to be an email. Okay, right. Excellent answer, Nathan. Even though you spell it wrong, but that's still a good answer. Anybody else could tell me what is the sharing of proprietary company information with a competitor? Trust me, a lot this I've seen this every exam, they always ask about cybersecurity. Excellent, Vishu. Good answer. Ariane, no, it's not. It is not spam. So D, sharing of proprietary company information with a competitor is actually called industrial espionage. Okay. So it's C. So industrial espionage is when somebody takes company's sensitive information and they sell it or they share it with a competitor. That's what that is. All right, so I just want to see real quick which questions. Let's see. Number 10, number 9 gave a lot of people problems. Not a whole lot, but let's see. Many of you got right. So many of you are doing well with this. Excellent. And we're on to the last question. So sorry for those of you who wanted to do programming today. That's okay. We are going to do programming soon as we finish this. Number 10, which of the following protocols is used to ensure web browsers and servers to communicate with each other? All right. So IP, before we get to the correct answer, IP means is what? What does IP mean? It is short for Internet Protocol. Excellent. Right? FTP is short for something called File Transfer Protocol. File Transfer Protocol. Excellent. And C, VoIP is what we call voice, VOIs, voice over IP or voice over internet protocol. So your WhatsApp call does use VoIP because it uses the internet to transfer voice information. So your WhatsApp call is a good example of that. Facebook calls as well. Any sort of app that allows you to do telephone calls uses VoIP. So it transfers voice over the internet. So WhatsApp, perfect example of it. They are the largest user of the voice protocol. All right, voice over internet. It's voice over internet. So about voice internet protocol. Excellent, excellent. So some of you seem to be very consistent with your answers. All right, and then D is what we use for web browsers and servers to communicate. So D is hypertext transfer protocol. So it's literally there on every website address you have to type in. You have to put in more or less http://www.google.com. Okay, so with that being said, and we're all done with the first 10 questions of June 2025 paper 1 multiple choice. How are you all feeling after that session? What are your thoughts? Did you find it was hard? Did you find it was easy, right? So pretty confident. So that's just the first 10 questions, right? All right, good. Oh, somebody's asking for our next quiz. No problem. No problem. Maybe late, maybe stick around. Might get our next one. Stick around. Okay, somebody said it was difficult, but that's fine. That's okay. If you're feeling unprepared, that's fine, right? As we keep doing this and we go over the questions and we go over the answers and I go over the slides or go over the content, it just becomes easier. It just seems a bit hard now because you've seen it for the first time. But don't worry, with practice, we will get there. All right, so some of you want a quiz, but maybe later on, who knows? You never know. But let's take a little quick let's move away a little bit from the quizzes and let us continue from last week where we were talking about our loops, our Pascal programming loops. Now it's feeling like, whoa, making a quick switch here. That's fine because we need to finish up on our loops. So who remembered last week when we spoke about our for loop, which is a finite loop? So last week we spoke about a for loop where we actually loop to do 50 iterations and to write 50 lines. And then after that, we would have jumped into our while loop. Okay, so giving you all a few seconds to make the shift, can we just shift the gears into programming. And I will show you all later on that 4 questions came this year on programming. Not so much Pascal programming, but on algorithms. And I want you all to really focus on, when it comes to pseudocode, focus on how we structure our loops, how we structure our mathematical operations, how we structure our inputs and our outputs. Remember, write line is an output statement, read line is an input statement. Okay, so we have an example here. We check out this question. And who did the code last week? I'm trying to remember. CEO, was it CEO? Who did the nice code with the with that? Was it? Who was it? I can't remember who it was, but that's fine. So, does everybody have their little compiler out? Does everybody remember the online Pascal compiler? Everybody have it up? Is online this website here. We put it in chat. Okay, using a phone. Okay, no problem. No problem. If you're using a phone, you might not be able to access it. Okay. We have a question here. Check out this question. Check out this question. We have this little exercise that tells us write a Pascal code using a while loop where it prompts the user to enter 5 numbers. Okay, and we have to use a while loop, not a for loop. If they asked us, well, use any kind of loop you want, we could have used a for loop, but they're asking us to use a while loop to enter 5 numbers. When all 5 numbers are entered, we have to calculate the sum. We are to calculate the sum of the 5 numbers. So I took the liberty of writing this code here. Okay. So let's see what this code looks like when we put it in the compiler. Now, once again, before we write any sort of code, we need to do our algorithm. We need to do our little flow chart. So let's pull up our flow chart here real quick. What was it again? Right, this one here. I have a feeling, or feeling burnout from that quiz, you know? How y'all feeling? Find out real quiet. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Yeah, I have a feeling that 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 quiz kind of got you all. Okay, so you all still doing okay? You all still here? All right. Big. Tried so hard for first place. That's fine. Next time, you could always do back the quiz, you know, if you all want. We have 24 hours to do it, actually. It's only available for the next 24 hours. That what you do. Okay. All right. So once again, we like to do up a quick flow chart. A quick flow chart. And we do our little start, begin, and then we have to ask the user to do what? Please enter. Please enter. We have an input here. So we're asking the user, please enter your number. Okay. And we're asking it to do a while loop. Okay, screen through. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Please enter number. Please enter number, and we'll say number. We'll call that variable I. Okay, and then after that, we have to go into our nice little while loop. And how we start that, we do a decision. You all remember the diamond. The diamond here is for decisions, and decision are used for ifs, for our conditional statements such as if then else, or we could use it for for loops, and we could use it for while loops. So what we're going to say inside of here is that if or while I, the variable I, is less than or equal to 5, we have our conditions either yes or no. So we could say while it is no, I'm gonna do the arrows after. I'm gonna say yes. Okay. Yes. If so, we say is our variable I less than equal to 5. If it's not less than equal to 5, we want to say okay. What we want to do, we have to do our process, and the process is you want to, yeah, it's up to you if you want to use this website. Some people use Microsoft Word or some other sort of drawing program to do flowcharts. I just find that this particular website helps with that. Is a lot easier for me. It is. So we then want to say sum. Please enter number I. Is I less than equal to? So we then say number. We add the number, or we increment. So we say we add number to itself. So number equals number plus number because we are looking at the sum. Or we could always say number equals, we could say sum. We could have a sum here, or sum is equal to number plus, or sum plus number. Because what we're doing, we're just adding the current number to the previous number. Yeah, it has a snap-on feature. That's why I love it, for the snap-on. I'll do the snap-ons just now. You see how cool it is. Snap-ons are so cool, right? And then we'll say output. And then for our output, we would say, okay, output display sum. But check this out. So we go have a little arrow here. We're going to start doing our little arrows. So we have these here, this here, shift. All right. I'm going to say this arrow. Remember our decisions, right? Do that. And then we have arrow here. This one has to go back to touch here. Don't know why that's there, but we just have to do a little snap-on feature here. So this one snaps to this one snaps to that, and then this one was snapped to a end. This one snaps to, this one was snapped to, sorry, this one here. Put this here, and here I am going to put, yes, gonna put this to, sorry. Please excuse my drawing skills, but I think you all are following me, following this. I'm so sorry that this is oops, wrong here. All right, good, because of the snap-on feature, we have this here. So does everybody agree with me on this flowchart for the question that they asked us? So the question is, we want you to enter a number, 5 numbers, and after those 5 numbers are entered, we have to display the sum of those 5 numbers. Okay? But we are using a while loop. Now, the code that I did, I actually entered a function or a condition that says we have to enter. Let me show you all how the code works. So this is what the code will do when I run it. So it's asking me enter number 1. So the first number would be 45. So when I enter 45 and I hit enter, the program asks me, do you have more numbers to enter? And why would I ask the user if you have more numbers to enter? I'm asking that because if this is a while loop, if this was a for loop, this loop would execute 5 times and then display the output. But however, this being a while loop, remember this is an infinite loop, so it will go on forever and ever and ever, and it will just keep going and going. And I will be entering a whole bunch of numbers, right? So I'll be entering a whole bunch of numbers. So For a while loop, you always need to have an exit condition. So it will ask me, do you have any more numbers to enter? I will say yes. And it'll ask me to enter number 2. I'll go 88. Do you have any numbers to enter? I'll say yes. Enter number 3. I'll enter 9. Do you have any more numbers to enter? I'll say yes. Enter number 4. I can enter 100. Do you have any more numbers to enter? I say yes. 62, right? You keep going. Do you have any more numbers to enter? Well, yes, I do. And I go in and ask me for number 6. And it keeps going and it keeps going until I type no. Look, I do not have any more numbers to enter. Do you want to enter them? I said no. And it would then tell me, okay, great, your total is 382. Okay. So, however, how I do this, I have a condition that says while a is equal to yes, then it goes into the while loop and it keeps adding each number to the sum. So how I do that, I look at my code, my header is while loop. This is my variable. Remember, anything under VAR is how we declare our variables. And because we are entering numbers, we have to use of type integer. However, when I was typing yes or no, this is where we use a type string. Type string, and then under begin, we initialize our variables, and then we say while is yes. Now, having said that, our flowchart actually looks different. So we say is yes. Check this out. We have to now remember our condition is what? Our condition is while our variables equal this yes here. We're looking for yes. So therefore, we have to change this condition is a equal to yes. And in fact, this here, this box actually has to come underneath. I have a feeling many of you are a bit lost here. If you're a bit lost, let me know so I could probably go over it one more time. You're a bit lost? Okay. Tell me which part exactly got you lost at. Programming part, okay. I don't think you were you here? This is your first class with me, or you've been here before? All right, no problem. I had a feeling so too. Okay, so real quick, just want to go over something here with you all. I just want to finish up this nice little chart that I'm doing here. So I was gonna give you a quick crash course on programming here, real quick, okay? Real quick, a quick programming crash course. So first thing first, first thing first, the first part of any program, we have to give it a name. So how we do that, we say program and we give it a name. One thing to always remember when naming your program, there are no spaces in the name. It all has to be one word, and we end it off with a semicolon, right? We got that? Now, the second part after that, we have to declare our variables. Why do we need to declare our variables? Well, it's important for the computer to know when you put an input into the program, if it's a letter, if it's a number, if it's a yes or no, if it's a Boolean, the computer needs to know, because it will then take that input and it can now manipulate it For example, if I want to add a whole bunch of numbers, the computer cannot add letters because seriously, what is n plus q? I don't know, but the computer will know what is 1 plus 2. Okay, why write a while loop in the program? Because that is what the exercise asked us to do. We could have used a for loop, we could have, but it asked us to do a while loop instead. But we'll get to that just now. We could probably actually convert this into a for loop. Now, after we declare our variable, so how we declare it, we'll say, well, in this case, if we want to declare I as an integer, we say I colon integer semicolon. We got that unknown. And then I want to declare X as an integer. So I say X integer colon. If I type Y colon integer semicolon. Okay. And then for A, we want a string. We want to be able to type yes or no to continue. Do you want to continue? Yes. Do you want to continue? No. That's a string because a string is a collection of single characters, just like your name. Your name is a collection of the letter U, the letter N, the letter K, the letter N, and so goes on, right? So that's why we define this as a string. Now, after declaring our variables, we have to start our program. How we started? We started with the word begin and we ended with the word end, full stop. Following me so far? The person who said it was a bit lost with the programming part? Good. Now, after we begin, we have to initialize our variables. It is recommended that you initialize your variables, but you don't have to. But usually when you have a coding error, or sometimes your code is not working the way how you like it, it can sometimes it could be because you did not initialize your variables. And what do I mean by initialize? For all the integers, I'm just going to give them a value. For the I just initialize it. Well, if you write, and if depending on your compiler, it doesn't have, it could turn to a different color. It could be purple. I think Notepad++ is purple. Some is blue, but this one is orange. But once they are different colors, so like if begin is a different color from right line, that's fine. But usually you'll have to use a different compiler. 1:15, 1:15, and we have 30 glorious minutes remaining. Okay, now after we define or we initialize our variables, so I initialize I as 1, I initialize X as 0, Y as 0. Now X and Y are what we're going to use to sum up each number that we're adding, that we're entering. Okay, so now I jump into my while loop. Now, for those of you who were here last two classes or last class, how we initialize a while loop, we started by what's the syntax for it? We say while, then after that space, we put a condition that we want to test, and then we have do. Now, you all feel free to try to enter your code into your compiler. If it doesn't work, send it to me and we could see how we could debug it and fix it right here one time. So I say go for it. If you want to try to type in this code into your compiler and see if it works. If you're having problems with it, copy and paste it and send it to me in the chat. And we all could work together as to what to debug it or troubleshoot. All right. So we say while A is equal to yes, which is our condition. This is where the computer will ask us, do we have any more numbers to input? And this is where we said yes or no. And then after the while, now I like to put begin and end for our while loop. Some of you don't, but I prefer to do it. So at least I will know where the while loop starts and where the while loop ends. Now, once again, for right line, WRITELN, that is our output. Output, open bracket, apostrophe, enter number, comma, and then the number I, which will be in our first loop will be 1, semicolon. This is where the computer will ask us to enter our number, and then it will wait until we enter that number. That number could be 45, it could be 100, it could be 1,000,000. Once it's an integer, it will wait for you to enter that number, and when you enter that number, it will now add itself, add that number to the previous value. So the previous value of y is 0. But if we enter x as, let's say, 89, it will say 89 plus 0 will give us what? 89. And then the computer will then ask us again, right line, do you have any more numbers to enter? We would say either yes or no, which will be stored as variable a. Remember, a is a string. A is a string. With me so far? Anybody lost? All right. Did it compile? And let's remember with a while loop, you have to increment. You always have to increment your variables. A for loop increments the variables by itself. All right, good. So, questions at this point? Everybody's good here? Now, let's just say, for example, you'll get a quiz just now. 1 o'clock, you'll get all the quiz. Oh, sure, I'll go with the flow chart. Okay, so the flow chart. Which part of the flow chart you want me to go over? Or I have it here on the screen. Okay, from the decision. Awesome, no problem. So with the decision, so I'm just going to delete everything here again. Let's do it from scratch, okay? With a decision, now we're using a while loop. Now a while loop is what we call an infinite loop, okay? So we have to, with all decisions, we need to have a question that's where the outcome is either yes or no. We basically have 2 outcomes. So what is can I say, besides is A equal to yes? What is another question we could say? So we could say is 10 greater than 11? Those are the kind of questions we need to ask. Is 10 greater than 11? Is my phone an Android? Right? So these are what decisions symbols are. The answer has to be either yes or no. It's not an open-ended question. It's not, well, it depends. It's not like that. It's either yes or no. So in this case, we're asking, is the input equal to yes? YES. So that's what it is. Okay. And then from there, if the input is yes, we would then tell the computer, look, output output, you say yes. Now, sometimes our yes could be here, it could be here, it could be any one of these. But right now, yes, you can subtract and divide in a while loop for sure, definitely. Now, you cannot subtract and divide within the decision, but you could subtract and divide when you're in this area here, when you are in this area here. Got it? When you are here, you could, so we could put A is equal to B minus C. We could do that inside of here, inside of these boxes. So the rectangle box is where we could do our mathematical operations, our comparative operations. The parallelogram is where we have our input and output. And the decision, these are where we have our questions. These are where we have our questions. Right? So is the input A equal to yes? Right? So if the input A is equal to yes, we then just output the sum. We just output sum. So the person who asked me to age, Miss Wilson, we're going so far, understanding so far, output is sum. And here we say we add previous value to current value. Okay, and then we try to loop back them back here. Trying to see if I could get this to do that. Trying to see if I could get this here. This one. Can I get it here? Ah, man. All right. All right. There. Take this out here and here. Okay, I really trying to do a quick ratch here. And then from that, we go to end. We end it here at the output. And so this is what our flowchart will look like for that algorithm. Questions? Okay. Now, we just have a few more minutes again. So I know many of you would have asked for it. So we're going to try something a little different. We're going to try the Kahoot this time. Some of you asked for Kahoot, and we're just going to do another quiz. And this quiz is actually past paper questions that, again, that came in 2025 on programming. So just to wrap up on programming, because we would have covered programming for the last 3 classes. This will help us now understand, and I'm really hoping that you'll do well in this one, right? So we have you guys here, Jivan. Let me see how you guys doing here. Let's see. Okay, you're gonna have 2 minutes. This is an easy one. This is just 3 questions, and I'm hoping to see everybody get all 3 questions. I don't know how Kahoot is compared to, okay, a whole bunch of you are there doing Kahoot. Let's see if I'm trying to get the answers, the results. How does that work? How did you all score so far? Josh, Jay, Naomi, Michaela, Ray, Noor, Justin, Cheyenne. How y'all doing with the quiz? This is, I know, Jivan, Ashley, Jivan getting through. All you have to do is scan that code out, or you can go to kahoot.it. Well, this one's a little different. Yeah, the quiz started. Did it? Did it start or did it not start? All right, hold on. Somebody say I have to press start. I don't know. What am I doing here? Oops. Okay, start. Ooh, cool. Let's see. First time doing Kahoot. So let's see how it is going. So this is question 51. And this year's paper, right? So we have this nice little code here, algorithm actually, and it says, start the wrong game. What do you mean? You all getting through? Started a new game, so oh, okay, hold on. Let's try this again. I'm sorry about that. It's first time using Kahoot. I don't know why. Let's start this one. Sorry. I'm ending that. This is the one to start. Sorry. Okay, you all should be getting through now. Think you all should be good now, not so? Okay, might not need the QR code. You see at the bottom here, it says kahoot.it. The PIN number is 137419. Okay, so we have an algorithm. Oh my goodness. I just given you, don't show that. Okay. So you all could probably do that. You all could do that while I do this. Okay. Sorry. So this is the one you want to use. You want to use the one that says game pin 13749. So it's like that. You don't have, you have to finish it within that time period. I feel I had to stick with the one I had before. What do you all think? Right? game pin. All right, we're trying something here. Stick with what I had before, no problem. But either way, we still have to do this question. My God. Yeah, you will one. I don't know who recommended. So now, okay, we just have a few more minutes again. If we don't get through, if we don't finish this in today's class, we could finish it next class. I'll put it back in the previous one. I just tried something different. I just don't know why it didn't work. But I would love to know what the questions were. Please. Yeah, but I know that, but I want to go over the question. Right? I just want to go over the question itself. I know what the answers are. Uh, there's no participants to wait for. Hold on. Huh? If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. But how are you all doing with the quizzes? You all getting the answer?
Hi all. So computer had to restart, right? So let's give him a few minutes, right? He'll be back in, right? So sorry about that. This is the other teacher. This is the maths teacher. So, all right. So he'll be back just now. For those who didn't get a message, so computer just automatically needed to restart. So he'll be back in just now. Right? All right, guys, I have some bad news. So computer is giving a how it restart. You know how it is do like when it restart, it is do a automatic update. The computer is going through an automatic update at this point. So he says he apologizes. He won't be able to log in on time, but it's only about 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes till class finish anyway. Right, so Sir say he will see you all next week, and he sends his apologies. I'm really sorry about that, guys. Really, really sorry. All right, so sorry about that. See you all next week, and I'll see some of you all tomorrow for AdMats. Take care, guys.